Welcome to a new era of Warcraft 3. It's the day after the Warcraft Direct, and we've been reporting about that video stream for a long time. We rumored that there's a patch 2.0 coming, and yes, there is a patch 2.0 now, and that's the world we live in. We were greeted by the Warcraft Realtime Strategy Team. Yes, that exists. The Warcraft 3 games 1, 2, and 3 have an active team that delivered this patch and the remasters of Warcraft 1 and Warcraft 2. And I think, without further ado, we show what the changes are. Changes first and foremost, updates to the menus, updates to classic graphics, updates to Reforge graphics, as well as hotkeys, skins, and some other nice changes. I think the message that this team sends is clear. We know what you want, and we will deliver it. If you open Warcraft 3, you see this. The old menu is back. Ice Crown is back. Frozen Throne is back. Everything we loved about the main menu of Warcraft 3 is back, and it's gorgeous. I love this. I love everything about this. It looks stunning. It is calming. It is open. It can breathe. And it is what we've been playing for 20 years. And it's amazing. If you're more of a Reign of Chaos player, by the way, boom, you can do this. And that is neat. But of course, we'll switch back to this because it's way, way, way better. That's the first big surprise, and it shows that the team knows what kind of community we are and what this community wants. What this community wanted was not the Reforged remaster, it was classic graphics in better quality. And that has been delivered. Before you get your hopes too high, it is upscaling by factor 16. And it's okay. This is the original classic graphics that we all love. This is the upscale. So everything's a bit brighter. Everything pops a little bit more. Everything's a little bit sharper. What's clearly noticeable is shadows and terrain. That's the big one, I think. Models, not so much. But it's better than what we had in the past. And that is an upgrade, and that is good. There are a couple of issues with this upscaling. And we don't want to hide it because, let's be honest, it's probably a lot of AI involved. If you look at the icons in the game, they're quite fine. If you export them and make them bigger, it's quite some AI involved. Like, this is not the Boots of Speed that we know, right? There's something off about it. This farm is it looks a bit like art, like paintings. But in-game, it's barely noticeable, I would say. There was a bit of a... How do I put this? They made a big mistake. They made a big mistake because I like that we get improved graphics. It's cool. Unfortunately, on the homepage, Blizzard released some concept art that is not in the game, but that was displayed on homepage and shop. And that concept art looks like this. And I guess in our wildest dreams, we would love to have Warcraft look like this. If someone could choose, it would probably be someone like this. But it's just concept art. I hope one day we will be playing the game in this version. But for now, we can appreciate the upscaled graphics that we got. And Blizzard has fixed that issue as well and replaced those graphics. So, Reforged Terrain, the next big update that we got in the patch, and that is also, like, the Reforged Terrain was horrible. Everybody knows it. The classic terrain, you know it, you love it, it's totally fine. In Reforged, this exact scene looks like this. Neon green, toxic wasteland. I don't know what they were thinking. The new version is this. A bit more cartoony, faithful to the original. The colors way better. Are you noticing something? You can mix the classic models with the Reforged terrain. So, classic, Reforged. Very good. Very, very good in my opinion. I have some issues with it, and that is mostly noticeable on ice maps. Well, this is the classic, and it's Northern Isles, right? Light blue. This was Reforged, already a little weird, with a lot of green involved. Currently, after the update, it looks like this. They're getting closer to the light blue that we have in Classic. Still some work to do. The green is also prevalent here. So on the ice tile set, a little bit of work to do in my opinion. Fall looks good. This is Classic. Whatever Reforged was. And now the updated version that is once again more faithful. You can look at all tile sets. They're all updated. This is Amazonia, a little bit darker green. This was, I don't know, again, dude. Reforged, let's forget about it. And the new update makes it look like the older Amazonia. This also shallow gray for a little bit of a darker tone. Now looks like this. And I think they did a good job there. A little bit of nitpicking for sure. And one example is definitely noticeable, and that is Blight. That is probably my biggest criticism that I have with terrain. This is the classic Blight. You know it. We build on it, and then we call an overview. Reforged already was horrible with a dark brown-ish. There was basically just one flat thing. The new Blight looks like this. And there is more variation with the neon green cracks in the ground, and it's a bit more towards the brown of the original. But this is not our Blight. There's still some work to do when it comes to Blight. So hopefully they can fix that. But overall, 8 out of 10 for the terrain, I would say. And it's so good that if they fix these little issues they have, maybe one can use it. Maybe this might be the first element of Reforged that's actually usable. And that's damn cool. So they change the terrain and they bring the old menu back. And I think this sets the tone for the patch. As I said, they lay a foundation. With the terrain, they are literally laying a foundation to what's coming to our game with an active team behind it. One big feature that is coming with Reforged 2.0 is hotkeys. And that is something super important. When we had the Grubby Show matches versus Tyler 1, we saw a lot of people coming into the game, and the first thing they wanted to do is change the hotkeys. This is also something we've seen at Stormgate. People want to customize their hotkeys. In Warcraft 3, you had to use your custom key text file. It was not good. Now we got a solution in Reforged to do that, finally, for the first time in 22 years. And while the approach and the fact that we have hotkeys is a good one, the implementation, unfortunately, is not great and it's not clean. You have a lot of command cards just lined up with the button here, and you don't really know, like you cannot envision where the button is on the command box at the bottom right-hand side. So you have to remember it or take screenshots or whatever. Same for the races. You have a bunch of units, you have a bunch of buildings, you have a bunch of heroes and abilities. This is something, but I gotta say it's not good. Blizzard already said that they will work on this and that they will improve this. See this as the first iteration and something that is very likely to improve rather fast. There's some issues here as well, and there's definitely a big lack of features. First and foremost, I want to say that from a UI perspective, War 3 Champions is doing this a lot better. And I'm gonna show it to you how this can look like, because it's just that much cleaner. There it is. Compare this. Here, you select your race, you click on a worker, and you have a command card right there. Same with the building. You click on a building, and then you see it right there. There's also templates that you can use and then customize. This is a lot better. Just steal it. Nobody cares, I gotta say. So with the Reforged Hotkeys, we miss quite a bit. There is no templates in this one. There are missing hotkeys. For example, I think Purge and Shadow Meld are 2 examples. Inventory hotkeys can't be customized. There's no hotkeys for shop items, whether that's the racial shops or the merchant. No hotkeys for that. Mercenaries, laboratory, all of that is not in. You can't customize the F keys for the heroes. You can't modify the controls, the modifiers. The buttons cannot be repositioned. The keys for skill water elemental and summon water elemental are the same and chained together. Does this work for all custom campaigns? Does this work for user-generated content? I don't know. Also, there's a certain lack of UI, quality assurance, as you might see that there's 2 tinkers. Oops. There's 3 alchemists, 4 alchemists. That has a reason in the editor, because like Alchemist in Chemical Rage is a different unit, and so you need 4 alchemists. That is also true if you combine a tinker ability with engineering, it turns into another ability. That's why it's all here. It's a little bit messy. But what worries me is you can set everything to the same hotkey. And save it, and then it's fine. Might need some QA there and some fine-tuning, but as they said they will improve on it, I believe them for now, and we'll see how that goes. So hotkeys in general, as I said, a good thing. Shout out to them. UI. The entire Blizzard UI has been overhauled, the entire Reforged UI. And I've shown you the main menu already. The campaign menu has been overhauled as well. Back in Reforged, it looked like this. Couple of boxes with the background. Then you can scroll to the side. The missions were set up like this with the background as well. Now we got books. Every chapter of Warcraft is represented by a book. You can click on it, then it pops up. You get a little bit of a description. I like this a lot. It looks really, 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 really cool. I think the font doesn't really fit too well. It's very packed, I gotta say. But in general, it looks cool. It's very different, though, from every other UI element that we have. The versus screen has been overhauled. When you go into multiplayer, you want to play games. This was the Reforged menu. You click on it, you select your race, game mode, go. That was very fast. That was very good. Now, you go into multiplayer and things look like this. You got your chat room again. The social aspect that many of you wanted back is now back. The chat was basically disappearing in old Reforged, and now it's in the center once again. If you want to join a versus game, you have to go to versus, select your race, select your game mode, and go. Here's some criticism to be done. If you do your map preferences, there is no preview. You can't see what map it is. You have to know the names. I think personally this is too many sub-menus. I want to play. I want to play with ideally 1 click. Now I have to do 3 and 1 more than in the original. I will probably do a deeper feedback on this because I got a lot of stuff to criticize, but it is similar to Frozen Throne. And this was their mission, and this is what they wanted. Custom games, of course, in as well. We got 2 new servers, by the way. We got Sydney and Chicago, so Australia and US East finally making a return. That is lovely to see. If you create a game, you can now filter for maps. This has a little downside that you can only filter in a folder, but we finally have filters. Isn't that nice? That's a good improvement, I gotta say. Leaderboards have been updated as well. And the entire multiplayer functionality and how this works has been updated. So in the old Reforge, before 2.0, the only measurement of how you should be ranking on a ladder was your MMR. That has certain flaws. For example, if you don't play for a very, very long time, there's no punishment for that. Now we introduce levels, as it was back in Frozen Throne, as it also is on War 3 Champions with ranking points. And ranking, while MMR is a display of your skill, these levels and ranking points are a display of your skill. Of course, you gain points as you win, but also your activity. So activity gets rewarded a lot more. Season has been reset. Season is fresh. Also, you don't lose your MMR anymore when the season resets. That is very good. So you don't have the grind at the beginning of a season against opponents that are better or weaker than you. Here also definitely some stuff to work on, but it's all right. It is certainly all right. More feedback on that in another video. Now, the profiles could certainly be enhanced. I made no games, but you have your statistics here and a match history. That's pretty cool. From there, you can also download the replay now. I got 1 and 5. That's embarrassing. Leaderboard old, sorted by MMR with Sonic and Hitman. Leaderboard new with level. That is better. Custom games has more room for game names and map names now. But apart from that, most important is, I think, the background and the style. The create match screen was updated a little bit, so you don't have to go into advanced options anymore to go for observers, for example. It's all here. That is nice. Once again, the filter is the big one. That's the big feature here. Speaking of big features, we got skins. We had some skins before. If you purchased the limited, the special edition of Reforged, you got these 4 here, then also female DK and female Demon Huntress. Now, skins, everybody. If you are in Reforged and you go to this burger menu and into collection, you can go for a lot of skins. Basically, everything that has an extra skin in the campaign can be selected. Of course, the 6 that were mentioned before. For the human, we got a pirate paladin. We got a lot of paladins, actually. You can select Arthurs in various variations with the Frostmourne or not. Every skin has 2 indicators. You can see them here. The brownish one means that the skin is available in classic graphics. The silver one means it's available in Reforged graphics. And you can see most of the skins Reforged only. Orcs got a pretty good one, I gotta say, with Thrall, with Blackrock, with Grom. 2 Groms, actually. Undead, finally, get Deathrog, the big-boned Dreadlord that we wanted for 6 years. Lots of Dreadlords in general. And also, the Night Elves get a little bit of something with the evil Illidan, the demon Illidan, and the Tavern Heroes are represented as well. So, I think this could become a killer feature of the game, but at the moment, it's lackluster. It's a little tedious to scroll through this. Can I not filter for a hero if I only want to go for one hero? I think the availability for Classic is very, very limited. some heroes don't have a skin, like the Fire Lord, for example. And the quantity is a bit odd. Like, why do we need 5 Dreadlord skins that aren't that different from each other? Why do we need so many Paladins? Are the devs fans of the Pally rifle? That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Paladins that barely look any different. But hopefully, in the future, we can also see units here. Units are currently completely missing. So, yeah, that is my downside on the skin section. And I really hope this can be improved. Like, people want to play for skins and people would actually pay for skins. It would be great if we can support the longevity of Warcraft 3 with stuff like this. In the option, by the way, you can enable and disable them. If you don't like it when your opponent is going for these custom heroes, you can just disable it, which is very good. We also got a lot of new portraits, some that you have to play for on ladder and campaign. These are for free, represent the 2.0 patch for all different races. And we also got Warcraft 1 and Warcraft 2 icons. They got remastered and are purchasable today and now available as portraits, which I think is pretty nice. So I think we talked quite a bit about options now, and I think we should talk about the entire option menu, because there's a lot. So here you can go for a bit more options when it comes to quality. When you go to sound, you can finally select the sound device. This has led to many restarts within the player scene, and we haven't had this in a long time, so I'm very glad it's back. Another feature that is very neat is you can select the music of Warcraft 3, of course, we love. You can also select Warcraft 2. And there you go. You got the music of Warcraft 2 in Reforged. I should probably boost this a little. There it is. There it is. Also, of course, Warcraft 1. Here, I would love to be able to select individual tracks to create my own sampler. I would also love to have World of Warcraft tracks because they're bangers. So hopefully we can improve on that even further. The fact that we have it is quite nice. For us players, probably the biggest thing is gameplay, obviously. And while there's no huge improvements, at least the game is catching up to what platforms like War3 Champions are providing for a long time. I slide myself over. So you see, you can go for the deny icon that you know from War3 Champions, the gold mine unit counter that you know from War3 Champions. They have a clock in the game now, plus ping, APM, etc. In general, a couple of standard selections were changed. So for example, formation toggle is off by default. I enabled it because I am a noob. So this is a bit more streamlined. The settings for Warcraft 3 players are pretty general. I would say a lot of people have the same settings, and this game represents that now. You should probably automatically save replays. Check this. And by default, it is disabled that you can see the opponent's chat. Maybe you like to chat, maybe you want to enable this. Here also the use skin indicator. When it comes to input, we already showed you the hotkey section that only works, by the way, if you select custom. So if this is grayed out, go to custom. Then I told you we got options, and we do have a lot of options when it comes to graphics, because every aspect of graphics can now individually be toggled on and off. I, for example, really like the Reforged environment, but I don't really want anything else. I want my classic heroes, classic icons, classic units, classic buildings, and the effects. But maybe you do like Reforged, and then you can play with the Reforged units, the Reforged heroes with all the new shiny skins that we got, the buildings, the icons, and the visual effects. Whatever your heart desires. And if you don't like any of that, you can just switch back to classic, and then everything is disabled anyway. I think this is really cool. All of this and the classic HD is available if you have Reforged, but if not, you can just go to classic. Reforged is available alongside the remastered Warcraft 1 and Warcraft 2 in a Battle Pass. Not Battle Pass, Battle Chest. All three combined for $40. The remasters for Warcraft 1 and 2 are cheaper if you have Reforged already. That still has Warcraft 3 Reforged cost $30. And this is a bit of my criticism here. I would really like to have this game be cheaper, at least if Reforged is not involved. Classic, still very hard to get. This has to be cheaper if we want more players in the game. So, I think in general, it is a start. This should not be seen as this is everything you ever wanted, but this should be seen as, hi, we are Blizzard Classic RTS team. We know what you want. And you know, it was a little bit busy here as we had to get to the deadline for the anniversary to get all three titles out. But give us time and we will deliver. The start wasn't perfect at all. There were a lot of issues. A couple of people couldn't log in when they didn't have the Reforged license. Ouch. People like me, you saw me on stream maybe, because my sound device has a special character in the description, my menu broke. Oops. Couldn't play. We had a couple of desyncs here and there. So, you know, some issues. We had some people complaining about FPS drops, some incompatibility with existing maps, for example. Mouse lag was, some users described it. Good news, like this is of course bad news, that it was plagued for like 2 hours, I would say. No, not 2 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours on day one. But the good news is that we immediately got a day 0 patch. And usually, if we get something on day 0, it's never a good sign. But the Blizzard RTS team delivered, fixed the most important issues on day 1, and I guess that's it. That's it for the problems, I mean, sorry. Mac still seems a little bit lackluster, but hey. I've been waiting for 5 years for Blizzard to make right what they ruined with Reforged. And while this patch is clearly not everything we ever wanted, I'm once again carefully hopeful that this team really wants to deliver what we want, and it just needs a little bit of time and it needs a little bit of support. They said in the video, when something is broken, you fix it. When something is wrong, you make it right. And when things aren't good enough, you make them better. I really hope this is the mission statement. And I really hope they can deliver. It is probably a small team. And for this patch and everything you've seen now, there's 2 ways to look at it. A, this is a product of a billion dollar company, and it's supposed to be the biggest patch as they rename it to 2.0. Then this patch is bad and it's not enough. if you see this as it's a relatively small team by people who truly care about this game, then it's a great 1.37 patch. It really comes down to what they make of this now. What is the future? When can we expect more? What can we expect next? The team has to tell us if they want to be successful and if they want to gain the trust of the community. It is totally up to them. Today, we've seen the return of the Warcraft 3 Twitter account. That's good. Today, we've seen fast blue posts when stuff wasn't right. That is good. Today, when there were problems, they were listening and had their channels to report some updates. That was good. Some of the quality that is delivered in this patch is not necessarily good. For example, the classic HD icons. There are some bugs, for sure. Also, the classic HD models are probably not that what everybody wanted. But there's good stuff in there too. And hopefully they change the terrain and the floor of Warcraft as a foundation for what's to come in the future. Until then, we will give a lot of criticism. We want you to work. We have a long list of quality of life improvements that we want to see in this game. And we will send it all to you, dear Blizzard team. And whatever you can implement, implement it. So, what do you think about the patch? Is it a new start? Or did they just do it to please some people for the anniversary? What do you want them to do? What is your priority? I will also make a video of what is missing. Here, I wanted to focus on what we got. I want to focus on what is missing, who might be disappointed, and what is my long list of quality of life wishes. Until then, let us hear your voice. Report bugs. They are listening. The Blizzard forums, the Reddits, this comment section. Our Discord as well. Thanks for watching, everybody. This is Era, Warcraft 3 2.0. See you soon.